Howdy again, everybody. Welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about chords of minor and the diminished seventh. And these names, just so you know, are already misleading. But let me tell you exactly what these chords are. So both of these chords are built off of the seventh scale degree in the scale. So that was redundant. But point being, in something like the key of D flat, the seventh scale degree is C. So then you would build these chords by stacking three other notes on top of this fundamental of C. So you would have, in this case of D flat major being the key center, C, E flat, G flat, and B flat. Now this is a major chord, right? Or sorry, not a major chord, this is a major scale, but the chord that we just formed is actually C half diminished 7. However, Tchaikovsky is calling it the minor seventh chord, right? It's more of a generic title. So let's say hypothetically that we were in the key of, I was about to say the same one, so let's choose key of F minor, right? Still, in this case, when we have the seventh scale degree, it's E. But when we build the actual chord that we're going to be functioning with here, it's going to be E, G, B flat, and D flat. So this is a fully diminished seventh chord, but it's just labeled as a diminished chord in this capacity with Tchaikovsky's guide. So now that we know how to actually build these, let's talk about the ways in which that we're going to see them. The way that we are trying to see them is the way that Tchaikovsky is trying to explain to us. So the way that Tchaikovsky actually illustrates these chords to us is quite interesting because he wants us to picture these chords as if they were a part of the dominant ninth chord that we just discussed in the prior video. He wants us to assume that this is a dominant ninth chord without its fundamental, and that we would then use the same resolution rules from the dominant ninth chord for these. There's only one exception to this, and it is pertinent. The most important rule to remember is that if the third is voiced below the seventh when writing this chord out, it means that we have to lead the third upward. So when the third is below the seventh, it has to go upward. Most important thing to remember about these chords. We don't really have to worry about the inversion names for these because they're pretty much exactly the same as the ones that we've been talking about. In fact, they are exactly the same as the previous chords that we've talked about in inversions that have obviously more than the 3 tones of a triad. And the other important thing that we get to remember for these is that we do not have to worry about actually preparing them the same way that Tchaikovsky strongly advises we prepare the dominant ninth chord. Now, besides those few things that are pretty much rules Tchaikovsky gives us, we can go ahead and jump into an example, which is great. So what you can see happening in this example is that I'm paying particular attention to where there actually is a minor seventh chord, otherwise known as that half diminished chord in this major key, and I'm making sure to pay special attention to the preparation of the voices and the resolution of the voices based off the rules that we were given. There's one spot in here where I wasn't totally satisfied with the soprano voice, but other than that I feel like it's a decently good example, and I hope that you're able to spot the areas in which there's a continuation of some of the principles of voice leading that we have prior discussed. And essentially that's all that there is today. So obviously, if you enjoyed it, let me know. If you didn't, still let me know. Otherwise, peace.